Hello, sports fans. We are ready for football picks for week number 1 in the league where they play for pay. Great to be back with you. The best audience anywhere is right here as we are set for another football season. I can't believe it's here already. I feel like I just watched the Super Bowl. That was 7 months ago when the Chiefs won. The summer just flew by. Time goes by very, very quickly. Glad to be back. Okay, let's start things off with a special announcement. After today, starting next week, weeks 2 through 16 will be exclusively on Fan Time. You could find me over there, FANTIME.com, diagonal line, and my name over there is Mike Sports, MIKESPORTS. That's where you can find me exclusively week 2 to week 16. I've been doing this show for 12 years. I've never asked you guys for anything. It is $4.99 per month. You could stop anytime. Remember, the football season is 4 months. So if you do all 4 months, it comes to $20 for the year. That's like $1 a show. $5 a month. That's the minimum setting. I've never asked you guys for anything. I hope everyone joins me over there. There's a lot of stuff you can do over there. A lot of direct messaging, social media. There's a tip jar. A lot of interaction. So weeks 2 through 16 exclusively on Fan Time. You can find me there, Mike Sports. We'll get back to that later. Let's get going with the picks for today. Pick number 1, and what better place to start the party than the ultimate party city, New Orleans, Louisiana. Oh yeah! Mardi Gras Fat Tuesday, Bourbon Street, the Superdome, where the New Orleans Saints are at home, -3 against the Tennessee Titans. The Saints bring in Derek Carr at quarterback. I was a little surprised by that. I never thought Derek Carr would end up in New Orleans, but there he is, the quarterback of the Saints. Michael Thomas is thrilled. Michael Thomas, who has basically not played in the last 3 years, he's thrilled to have Derek Carr. So he's one person that loves Derek Carr. And listen, Derek Carr has ability, but he's so up and down. You just never know what you're getting with him. And by the way, we can squash all that stuff about Hill being the next Steve Young. That never happened, by the way. And then Tennessee, how about them? They bring in DeAndre Hopkins. I was also surprised about that. Surprised Hopkins went there. I thought maybe he'd go to a team like Buffalo, team up with Diggs, a team that was ready to win the Super Bowl. Not that the Titans are a bad team, but I was a little surprised he went there. And remember, the Titans just got rid of A.J. Brown a year ago. So they bring in Hopkins now. They obviously needed a receiver. I'm thinking, well, why didn't you just keep A.J. Brown? Why didn't you just keep him at the time? Philly loves him. But so Hopkins goes to Tennessee. So we'll see how that works out. Tennessee definitely needed a big offensive player like that. As far as this particular game, Saints at home in the Super Bowl, in the Superdome, -3 against the Tennessee Titans. Listen, you know me, and I'm going to say it again. My 2 favorite bets are the money line and the 2-team teaser. You guys bet the way you want. I know some of you like the 4-team teasers and the super teasers and all those big teasers. I stick with the 2-team teaser or the money line. So with this game, Saints at home -3 against Tennessee, I'm going to move the line to 9 and take Tennessee. I have to think this game is going to be close. Tennessee usually always plays in close games. There's a lot of moving parts in this game. I think the game will be close. It could go either way. Hard to pick a winner straight up, but if I can get Tennessee with 9, I definitely would go that way. So I'll take the Titans +9 in a 2-team teaser. That's pick number 1. Pick number 2, let's go to Ohio, a big interstate rivalry here. Let's go to the Dog Pound in Cleveland. Woof, woof, woof. with the Cincinnati Bengals a -2.5 against the Cleveland Browns. Browns had a very disappointing year last year, 7-10. Watson looked really rusty. Not too much of a surprise. He didn't play football for a long time, but this is the year Watson has to play well. They gave him a ton of money, a big contract. He has to play big-time football right now this season. Cincinnati, they had 12 wins last year, beat Baltimore and Buffalo in the playoffs before losing to Kansas City. You know Cincinnati is one of the contenders. The key to Cincinnati, offensive line. If they can protect Burrow, they will be just fine. If Burrow is under siege, they're going to have problems. But they are definitely a contender to do big things. Big rivalry game, week 1 in the dog pound. I'm going to move it to 8.5 and take the Browns. I have to think Watson is going to play better this year. Cleveland is home. Big division rivalry, in-state rivalry. Those games are usually always close. I will take the Browns there plus 8.5 in a 2-team teaser. That's pick number 2. Pick number 3. Let's go to the Steel City in Pittsburgh, where the San Francisco 49ers are -2.5 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Tomlin, again, a winning record last year. The Steelers did get up to 9-8. Pickett played better at the end of the season. As far as San Francisco, listen, they got all the way to the NFC Championship before losing. Purdy got hurt. Then they trade Lance away. You know, you got Garoppolo on the Raiders now. Sam Darnold is the backup. I mean, we got all sorts of things going on in San Francisco. They have a good, solid team. And to me, you had to go back to Purdy this year. I know a lot of people had a problem with Lance not getting the starting job. Hard to go against Purdy. He got him to the NFC Championship game last year. Lance was also coming off an injury. Lance, we only saw a couple games. He looked a little spotty. Hard to not go with Purdy. A lot of people got upset with that. I did not. I mean, remember when Kurt Warner got the job with the Rams? He wasn't the starter. The starter went down with an injury. Kurt Warner gets the job, wins the Super Bowl, goes to the Hall of Fame. So to me, you had to go back to Purdy here. You just had to. You had to. And like I said, Lance traded away, Garoppolo on the Raiders now. So the Niners should be a solid team. They should be a solid team. If Purdy can duplicate what he did last year, the Niners will be right there. Very tough game here. Pittsburgh always plays well at home. Niners are a good team. Again, very hard game to pick straight up. Purdy's coming off an injury. I'm going to move it to 8.5 and take Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh can hang around in this game. I think it's a close, physical game. These two teams can get physical, especially on defense. I'll take the Steelers plus 8.5 to keep it close. That's pick number 3. Pick number 4. Let's go down to the capital, Washington, D.C., where the Washington Commanders are -7 against the Arizona Cardinals. Washington with new ownership, of course, and they're going with Sam Howell as quarterback. We saw a little bit of Mr. Howell last year. He looked decent. Didn't see a lot of him, but they're going with him. So a new beginning down there in D.C. People forget, Washington back in the day was a powerhouse. I mean, they were a powerhouse, and you know what Snyder did with that team? He just ran them into the ground. Let's see if they can get back to their winning ways like they used to be. Arizona, well, they're just a complete mess. Hopkins gone, Watt retired, coach fired, Murray's still out. Joshua Dobbs, I think, is going to get the start. Let me say it again. Mr. Joshua Dobbs will get the start in week 1. Ouch. I mean, I'm not saying Washington's great, but this is an anti-Arizona pick right here. I'm going to move the line to 1 and take Washington. Arizona on the road, all sorts of changes. The starting quarterback's out, new coach, no Hopkins, no Watt. Oh my, I can't like Arizona. Anti-Arizona pick. I'll go with Washington. That's pick number 4. Pick number 5. Let's go to Minnesota, one of the most underrated sports cities in the United States. Minnesota, they really support their teams up there. With the Minnesota Vikings. Go. A -6 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Of course, no Brady this year. Baker Mayfield will get the start. Oh my goodness, Baker Mayfield will get the start for Tampa Bay. Vikings, they had nothing but magic in the regular season last year. I mean, they pulled out so many games at the end. They had nothing but magic. Ran out in the playoffs, though. Cousins, he's on his last year of his contracts. We'll see about him. No Thielen, no Cook. They're on other teams now. Again, like the last pick, though, this is more of an anti-Tampa Bay pick. I was never a big Baker Mayfield guy, so I'm going to move this line to pick him and take the Vikings. Vikings home. I mean, they had all sorts of magic last year, especially, pulling out games late in their own building. They're good. Tampa Bay has to show me that they can go on the road with Baker Mayfield and win a tough game. I'll go against the Bucs here. Vikings, pick them in a 2-team teaser. That's pick number 5. Pick number 6, let's go down to Baltimore. The Baltimore Ravens are minus 9.5 against the Houston Texans with a U. Texans, of course, going with C.J. Stroud, the rookie at quarterback. They bring in Schultz at tight end. They're a little thin at wide receiver, though, so you got a rookie quarterback, thin at wide receiver. That could be trouble early. Baltimore, of course, put the franchise tag on Lamar Jackson. He's squawking about a big contract. They bring in Odell Beckham Jr. Baltimore, they're always good. They always put together a team. They're always going to be solid. They're always well coached. To me, for all you 3-team teaser lovers, 4-team teaser lovers, super teaser lovers, and I have a lot of people that do great on the super teasers. I mean, I know this one guy, he does great on the super teasers. This is the game for you. You move the line to basically pick them. You got to think Baltimore at home is going to get through here. You have to think they're going to have enough to beat the Texans straight up. So I'll move it to pick them, 3-team teaser, whatever, and I'll take the Ravens. The Texans have to show me, with a rookie quarterback and a thin wide receiving core, that they can go on the road and beat a good team like Baltimore. I don't think they can week 1. That is pick number 6. Pick number 7, let's go down to Carolina. This could be a messy, ugly, sloppy game. With the Atlanta Falcons, minus 3.5 against the Carolina Panthers. Of course, the Falcons going with Ritter at quarterback. Signed some people on defense. There's still a lot of work to do down there in Atlanta. Carolina, they draft Bryce Young. He will get the start at quarterback. They bring in Sanders at running back. They bring in Hurst at tight end. They bring in Thielen at wide receiver. Frank Reich gets the coaching job. So a lot of changes in Carolina as well. This is a division game. Like I said, all we need in this game is like a rainstorm, a monsoon. This could be ugly, sloppy, messy. I don't know what you're getting from either team. To me, I wouldn't personally play this game. If you had to play it, move it to 9.5 and take Carolina. You got to think it's a close game. You got to think it's under a touchdown either way. So I think points will be at a premium in this game. Carolina, a rookie quarterback. Ritter, we don't know. I'll take Carolina plus 9.5 in a 2-team teaser. Not one of my favorite plays, though. That's pick number 7. Pick number 8, let's go to Indianapolis, Indiana, where the Jacksonville Jaguars are minus 5 against the Indianapolis Colts. Indianapolis, another team starting a rookie quarterback, Anthony Richardson, who played a couple of games at the University of Florida, will get the start here. That is asking a lot of the young man. And remember, Taylor, he wants to be traded. Now he's on the physically unable to perform list, so they don't have him in the backfield. So you got a rookie quarterback, barely played in college, no Taylor, new coach. I mean, the Colts got all sorts of issues. And by the way, since Andrew Luck retired, how many quarterbacks have the Colts gone through? Every season they have a new starting quarterback. Oh my goodness, we'll see about Richardson. He's got a lot of talent, but he's very green. Jacksonville. They started 4-7 last year. They got up to 9-8. They beat the Chargers before losing to the Chiefs in the playoffs. Trevor Lawrence looks like he's going to be the real deal. I love that they got Calvin Ridley in the trade from the Falcons. Remember, Ridley, very good receiver, good college player, was drafted very high by the Falcons, but then got suspended for a year for that gambling, nonsense. So then the Falcons traded him to Jacksonville. I think that is a tremendous pickup for Jacksonville because they were already a decent team. Now you add Ridley to that offense. I really like that move from a talent standpoint for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Normally I'd go with the underdog here in a division game, but a lot of things I'm not liking about the Colts. Like I said, rookie quarterback, barely played in college, no Taylor. Jacksonville was coming on at the end of last year. I'm going to move to pick them and take Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville's just a better football team right now. I think Jacksonville's just a better football team right now. Now, we'll see. We'll see. Jacksonville, who knows with them? They could stub their toe at any minute. But I think they get the job done here. This is asking a lot from the young Colts to win this game. So I'll go Jacksonville to win the game. 2-team teaser, basically make it pick 'em. And that is pick number 8. Like I said at the top of the show, weeks 2 through 16 will exclusively be on FanTime, FANTIME.com, diagonal line. Mike Sports is where you can find me over there. Type it in, definitely sign on to my page over there, and let's go from there. So I will be there starting next week. Pick number 9. Let's go to one of my favorite stadiums. I don't know how much longer they're going to be playing in this stadium. Let's go to Chicago, Soldier Field. I hear rumblings they want a new stadium, the Bears, where the Chicago Bears are -1.5 against the Green Bay Packers, another great division rival. These teams have been battling forever. Chicago, of course, Fields, they bring in more at wide receiver. Chicago needed to help Fields out. They had to bring in a receiver. They do with more. We'll see if Chicago's offense is better this year. Green Bay, no Rodgers. We're going with Jordan Love, so we'll see how Jordan Love does. Big shoes to fill. Never easy to be the man that follows the man, and that's what Jordan Love is doing here. Listen, again, this is a tough game. How would you pick this game straight up? I'm going to move it to 7.5 and take Green Bay. I think this is a field goal game either way. Now, Rodgers, he beats Chicago every time. So we'll see if things start to change now that Rodgers is not there. But I got to go with Green Bay with 7.5 just to keep it close. That's pick number 9. Pick number 10. Let's go to Denver, the Mile High City, another underrated sports city. They really support their fans there, as well as the Nuggets win the NBA championship. The Denver Broncos are -4.5 against the Las Vegas Raiders. Raiders bring in Jimmy Garoppolo, another kind of strange move. I mean, you know what you're kind of getting with Garoppolo. Kind of strange. You go from Carr to Garoppolo. The Raiders, I'll tell you, every year they have talent, but they just can't get out of their own way. Maybe Garoppolo can at least stabilize them a little bit. They have talent. They just always seem to mess it up. Denver. Oh, what a year they had last year, and not in a good way. They were atrocious last year. Russell Wilson looked like an old elephant. They bring in Sean Payton. I was a little surprised Sean Payton took this job. I thought he'd want to go somewhere else. Thinks he can turn things around here in Denver. Thinks he can get Russell Wilson going on the right track again. By the way, Sean Payton was totally out of line, bashing the ex-coaches of the Broncos. Sean Payton, shut up. And we all love Sean Payton. Tremendous coach. Won a Super Bowl. Could have got to a second one if they didn't get that bad call against the Rams. We all like Sean Payton. I actually thought Sean Payton was going to go to the Cowboys this offseason, but they kept McCarthy, Dallas. Sean Payton's got to keep his mouth shut. You don't do that, Sean Payton. He was out of line with that. As far as this game, Denver at home, -4.5 against the Raiders. I'm going to move it to 10.5 and take the Raiders. Again, division games are usually, not always, close. Usually. So I am going to move it to 10.5 and take the Raiders. Again, there's too many things going on here to get a feel for either one of these teams. How's Russell Wilson going to play this year? Do we actually know? He looked terrible last year. Is Sean Payton going to turn him around? I don't know. So the safe play here, 10.5 and take the Raiders in a 2-team teaser. And again, I always tell you guys early in the season, the first month of the season, go slow. Let's see what these teams do. Teams that were good last year could be bad this year. Teams that were bad last year could be good. Let's get a feel for what's going on before we start betting heavy. Let's let a few weeks go by. Let's get a feel for what's going on. No need to rush into this. So I'll take the Raiders there plus 10.5. That's pick number 10. Pick number 11, an interesting game here. Let's go out to sunny Los Angeles with the LA Chargers. A -3 against the Miami Dolphins. Of course, Tua, can he stay healthy? When he's healthy, he plays well, but he's been all banged up. Of course, the Dolphins, I thought the Dolphins were going to bring in the running back, Cook from Minnesota. He ends up going to the Jets. The Dolphins do trade for Jalen Ramsey, though. I don't think he's going to be ready to start the year, though. Dolphins should be a solid team. As long as Tua is healthy, they should be solid. They should be explosive on offense. The Dolphins have talent. Chargers, another team with talent. The quarterback alone, Herbert. I mean, he looks like a star. He looks like a star to me. So to me, these are two good teams. This is one of the better games of the weekend. I'll definitely be keeping my eye on this game. By the way, I'd like to see how many Dolphin fans end up in Los Angeles. Every time I watch a Charger game, the other team's fans take over the building, and I'm sure it'll be no different here. I'm sure it'll be all Dolphin fans. Come on, Charger fans, where are you? You have a good team, a star quarterback. Where are you? Even if you have to come up from San Diego, you got to get in the building. Nice new stadium there. Come on, Charger fans, show up. Where are you? As far as this game, Chargers -3 at home against the Dolphins. I'm moving it to 9 and taking the Dolphins. Game is a toss-up, could go either way. And in those type of games, I take the underdog. I even push it higher with the points in a teaser. So Dolphins +9, pick number 11. Pick number 12, let's go to New England. Another interesting game here with the Philadelphia Eagles are -3.5 against the New England Patriots. Philadelphia, of course, gets all the way to the Super Bowl, loses a heartbreaker to Kansas City, winning in the first half, lose right at the end of the game. Heartbreaking loss. Hurts looks like the real deal, though. We didn't know about Hurts in his first couple of seasons, but he looks like a star now. He looks like a star now, gets his big contract. And then you have New England. Okay, New England, Mac Jones. This is it. This is the year. Mac Jones. You came out of college, you had a good rookie season, but he's regressed. He's regressed. He's regressed. This is the year Mac Jones put up or shut up. Put up or shut up. He has to play well this year. They bring in Juju Smith-Schuster. He comes over. That should help. But Mac Jones has to play well. It all starts with him for New England. And that division is very tough. I mean, you got Buffalo, you got Miami. The Jets are going to be improved. I mean, there's no gimmies there. So Mac Jones has to play well. I'm going to move it to 9.5 and take New England. They're home. They usually play well at home. Belichick will have them ready. And I always say this about teams, not only that win the Super Bowl, but lose the Super Bowl. They sometimes the next year, especially early on, have a little bit of a hangover. So we'll see how Philly, comes off the Super Bowl loss this year. We'll see about them. But I'm going to go conservatively, New England 9.5 at home, just to keep it close. I mean, listen, if you like the Eagles to win, I couldn't argue with you. Very good team. But I'll take New England there week 1 plus 9.5 at home to keep it close. That's pick number 12, Mac Jones. Put up a shutout. Pick number 13, let's go out to Seattle, the great Northwest, where the Seattle Seahawks are -5.5 against the L.A. Rams. Seattle, I talked about this for the last couple of years. Geno Smith. He gets his contract extension. And listen, Geno Smith, he's played well. A couple years ago, we didn't even know he was in the league. But he kept himself ready. He played well. He gets a new contract extension. Great job by Geno Smith. Of course, they have the good receivers, Metcalf and Lockett. So Seattle should be a good team. Rams, they're going the other way now. Stafford's getting old. Donald is getting old. They trade away Ramsey. Kupp doesn't look like he's going to play week 1. I mean, Wagner, they got all sorts of things. This is a total setback. I think setback, step back year for the Rams. I mean, I just cannot see them having a big time season. And now Kupp, probably not playing week 1. He's got a hamstring problem. You know how much he means to that team. And like I said, Stafford's old, Donald's old, no Ramsey, no Wagner. I mean, it just goes on and on. The Rams look like they're taking a step back. And now they got to go into Seattle week 1 with those, that offense and Metcalf and Lockett and those crazy fans there. I mean, to me, I'm moving this line to pick them and taking Seattle. I cannot see the Rams winning this game. And I know it's a division game, and I know the Rams are well coached, but the Rams are, they are not the team of 2 years ago that won the Super Bowl. They are taking a step back, and I think Seattle wins this football game. So I will take Seattle there. Shout out to my loyal listeners, Ryan, down there in Washington, D.C., and Amy, big Seattle Seahawks fan, Ryan, down there in Washington, D.C., of all places. I think the Seahawks get it done this week. That's pick number 13. Pick number 14, this is the Sunday night football games. The Dallas Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? The Dallas Cowboys are -3.5 against the New York Football Giants. Daniel Jones, who I bashed in the past, had a nice year last year, gets a contract extension himself. The Giants, basically, it all went their way last year. Coach Dable, big success. Wink on defense, big success. I mean, Daniel Jones had a very nice year. They make the playoffs. They were way ahead of schedule last year. Way ahead of schedule. You could not have thought the Giants would have a season like that last year. You just didn't think it was going to happen. But Daniel Jones, like I said, played well. Dable, the coach, was tremendous. Wink on defense, tremendous. Now they bring in Waller, the tight end. That's a good move. Barkley, signed the franchise tag after he had his epiphany, so they bring him back. They get rid of Kenny Golladay. That's addition by subtraction. So again, now listen, that division is loaded as well. Philly, Dallas, Washington should be competitive. The Giants, there are no gimmies in this division. And the Giants have a tougher schedule this year, and they're not sneaking up on anybody this year. But last year they had a tremendous season. They really did. Ahead of schedule. We'll see how they do now, week 2 of the Daboll era. And now Daniel Jones, you're being paid like a star now. You got to play like a star. This is a Sunday night football game. Dallas -3.5 in New York. Of course, Dallas, it's the same old story with them. They're going to have a good regular season, but then they're going to, what are they going to do in the playoffs? Prescott in the playoffs. They bring Gilmore and Cooks over. Those are 2 good moves. Dallas has the talent. They can play with anyone. Again, they'll win their 11, 12 games in the regular season. But what are they going to do in the playoffs? What is Prescott going to do in the playoffs? And enough Jerry Jones already. I am so sick of Jerry Jones holding these press conferences every 2 seconds. Jerry Jones, sit down and shut up. Tough game, Sunday night game, Dallas 3.5 in New York. I'm going to move it to 9.5 and take the Giants. Again, division rivals, 2 good teams. You have to think the Giants are going to be in this game. Obviously, Dallas can win it, but we're talking points here. We're talking points. And if I can get 9.5 in a 2-team teaser, I like the Giants to keep it close. I have to. Home opener, Sunday night football. You got to think the Giants are going to be in the game. So I'll take the Giants plus 9.5 at a 2-team teaser on Sunday night football to at least keep it close. That's pick number 14. Pick number 15. Let's go back to the Meadowlands in New Jersey, not too far from here, where the Monday night football game will be taking place. Big week in New York for football, where the Buffalo Bills are -2.5 against the New York Football Jets. Of course, Buffalo, they're going to be a contender with Allen and Diggs. They'll get Von Miller back eventually. Hamlin makes the roster. I think the Bills got worn out last year after what happened to Hamlin. They were emotionally drained at the end of the season. I was a little surprised the Bills, maybe didn't pick up Hopkins. I thought Hopkins would go there, pair with Diggs. But again, you got salary cap. You got all sorts of things going on. And listen, Buffalo can't have Allen as their primary runner. They have to commit more to the running game, and they can't have Allen being their leading rusher. Now they have Cook, the younger brother of Dalvin Cook, on the team, so maybe he can give them a lift, at the running back position. But they have to get more from the running game. You can't have Allen being your primary runner. You can't. So Buffalo, though, should be a contender. They should be a contender. You can't see them not having a big record. And the Jets, they were the talk of the offseason. They get Aaron Rodgers. Big expectations in New York now. And to me, it comes down to, and like I said, they bring in Cook as well. To me, it comes down to, can the Jets protect Rodgers? The offensive line. Can they protect him? The Jet defense is going to be good. They got the running backs. They got some playmakers. You figure if you can protect Rodgers, he'll get some things done for you. Can they protect them? The offensive line is the key to this team. And another thing, you know what name I don't hear about anymore in Jetland or, any of the networks land, all the draft people? Zach Wilson. Now remember, I don't pretend to be a draft guru, but I said at the time, Zach Wilson being that high of a pick, when did this happen? And everyone on ESPN and all these draft people said Zach Wilson's the guy. ability like Mahomes, and he's going to be a star. All I heard about that draft was Trevor Lawrence was a once-in-a-generation player. And then once he was picked by Jacksonville, they went right to Zach Wilson and said he was a once-in-a-generation player. No, you don't even hear his name mentioned anymore. And I don't hear anybody saying they made a mistake. Now they're all on the Aaron Rodgers bandwagon. You don't hear Zach Wilson's name mentioned at all. Bunch of phonies. So as far as this game, Buffalo -2.5 in New York on Monday Night Football against the Jets. I'm going to move it to 8.5 and take the Jets. I think the Jet defense alone will keep them in this game. And Buffalo can be spotty sometimes. You know, Buffalo, you know, like I said, they're going to have a big record. But you look at some of the games last year they lost, and they were terrible on offense. So they'll throw in a game where they can't move the ball from here to there. And I think the Jet defense can get some things done against Buffalo. I think the Jets with 8.5 and a two-team teaser can definitely keep it close. So I will take the Jets there plus 8.5 in a two-team teaser on Monday Night Football. That's pick number 15. And pick number 16, I'm not going to pick. This is the Thursday Night Football game. And you know I can't stand Thursday Night Football. I just wish they'd start the season on Sunday. But we got the Kansas City Chiefs at home, -6.5 against the Detroit Lions. Chiefs, of course, win the Super Bowl. They've won 2 Super Bowls in the last few years. They've been to 3. When you have Mahomes and Reed, you're going to have a big-time record. You're just going to have a big-time record. We'll see about Jones. He's holding out. Not sure if he's going to play. Detroit, listen, I got to give Detroit credit. I got to give Coach Campbell credit. I got to give Goff credit. They were 1-6 last year. They ended up 9-8. They went 8-2 the last 10 games. They've got an improved defense now. So I got to give Detroit, because I had met Campbell at the beginning of the year last year. I got to give them some credit getting up to 9-8. Now listen, 9-8 is one thing. Now can we take it to the next level, Detroit? Can we take it to the next level? Can we improve on that? Can we get to the playoffs? We'll see. You know, Detroit, they can muck it up at any time. You just don't know. But they have an improved defense. They finished strong. We'll see. Now, this is a tough ask here. Detroit would show me a lot right off the bat if they went into Kansas City and won. That's asking a lot. But I will hand off that game to you. I'm not picking Thursday Night Football. I mean, hard to go against the Chiefs as far as actually who's going to win the game. But you could talk me into Detroit in a two-team teaser or with the points, but I'm going to stay away from that game. It's an interesting game. Strange starting the year off with the Lions. It really is, having them play that first game. But it's an interesting game. I know a lot of people are picking the Lions to win that game outright. I'll stay away from that. I'll let you guys handle that. But anyway, there you go for Week 1 NFL picks. Like I said, go slow. Let's see how things develop. Let's give it a couple weeks before we start betting heavy. And as I mentioned twice, Weeks 2 through 16, you can find me exclusively on FanTime. FANTIME.com. Diagonal line, Mike Sports, MIKESPORTS. Sign up over there, $4.99 per month. You can stop anytime, so if you do 1 month, it's $5. You do 2 months, it's $10. 3 months, $15. 4 months, $20. $20 for the whole season. It's like $1 a show. I've never asked you guys for anything in 12 years. I hope to see you all over there Week 2. Sign up as quick as you can. So there you go. We're all set. I will see you next week for Week 2. You have the information. I will talk to you then. Pick a lot of winners. Make a lot of money. I'll see you next Tuesday. Take care.